the birth of SwiftSight. That alone will revolutionize the way that motion pictures are made. All of my companies that I've had in the past were all bootstrapped. I will talk for hours about what we're doing, but I'm finding that it's a lot more of show, don't tell.
Since you know that now, what would you probably do different? Or
one of the big things that I would really say is
that's one of the things that a lot of us go through.
It's easy to get carried away. That's something I think we've done very well.
How do you continue to grow?
I'm constantly.
Chris, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you taking out time today to kind of share with the audience and with the world a little bit about who you are and what made you actually become who you are today. I know you're president and founder of SwiftSight, but you just didn't start there, man. You had a great journey. Kind of share with the audience a little bit about your journey so they can appreciate you as much as I appreciate you.
Yeah, so I joined the Army right out of high school, and shortly after getting out of the Army, I went into EMS and started working on ambulances. Ended up in New Orleans as a member of a urban search and rescue team during the aftermath of Katrina, and really didn't want to go back to where I was, so I decided to stay in New Orleans, and I've kind of been here off and on since Katrina. I've left and come back a few times, but there's just something about the place that kind of keeps pulling me back. Sometimes despite my best efforts and my better judgments, but I've always really been into movies and the process of filmmaking, so I kind of have this dual career path. I've worked in emergency management and emergency response for about 15 years, 20 years or so. And I also was able to take some of my personal interests in the motion picture industry and turn that into a career where I've worked as a professional cinematographer, also as a production safety representative for some rather large and small motion picture productions. Unfortunately, right now the industry is very, very slow. Largely,
I guess with AI coming in and a lot of things are happening, and especially now if you're filming in California, you got the California fires and stuff that kind of stopped it a little bit. So to kind of impact your career. I know we mentioned before too. I mean, kind of what made you or what made a great impact, on your life. And I think you mentioned something about your brother when he was 8. Can you share a little bit about that? Because that was a starting point, right? That was the
that was really kind of a big push for me. So when I was about 10, my little brother was 8. It was actually his birthday. And we were going to go to the beach that day. My little brother was playing outside, and I was inside, and I guess he had an accident in the garage where he was running up the stairs and tripped and fell. And unfortunately, the stairs didn't have backings to it, so he threw his hands out to kind of catch himself. But they went through, and he struck his neck and fractured his larynx, and he came into the house saying, "I can't breathe, I can't talk," and started, for the sake of maybe not grossing people out, he he vomited some blood and stuff into the sink, and we called 911. And a very vivid memory that I have is my dad, who had come home from work, running my little brother carrying my little brother in his arms and running him into the ambulance. And shortly after that, my parents told me that the paramedics really saved my brother's life. They got him to the hospital, and the physician wanted to send him home, which the paramedic was very adamant that no, he needed to stay and be checked out. Turned out that his airway was about the size of a tip of a pencil, and he would not have been able to make it through the night if he had gone home. So that really stuck with me, that that positive impression of the paramedic being an advocate for the patient, and it really influenced me to want to work in EMS. And now it's 20 years later since I started my EMS experience.
Right.
Got many opportunities kind of like that where you get to be an advocate for the patient and really be the difference to somebody when it really, really matters.
Bespoke Human Potential Coaching sponsors this show. Bespoke helps CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs get rid of those blind spots that they've been carrying around since childhood. So if you're stuck and have some blocks, click the link below for your clarity call or scan the QR code if you're on video. Let's get rid of those blinds. Now back to the interview. I mean, and that's so important. I mean, some of those moments like that truly impact us. And sometimes it impacts us for the negative or the positive. For you, it was a negative situation, but had a very, very positive impact on your life and kind of the trajectory too of who you became, right?
Oh, exactly, yeah. It led to a career that, as a kid growing up, I hadn't really imagined. But my career path in EMS and emergency management is it provides you with so many opportunities to do some pretty life-changing things for people.
Right.
We like to used to like to say, in EMS and in emergency management, your customers that you deal with every day are literally having the worst days of their lives.
Right. But to me, you think about it, and think about even as you move forward, that's a trait that you've learned not only from personal experience, number one, and now because you've been in it so long, you know how to manage the emotions and the
Absolutely.
feelings and all those people, right?
Absolutely, and I kind of found that you get to be I get to be rather stoic, I guess, in high stress situations.
Right.
It puts a lot of things in perspective. Yeah, to some of the customers that you're dealing with, maybe the fact that something hasn't been delivered on time or something something hasn't met a deadline, to them is the
Right.
end of the world. When you put it in perspective, that's not really the end of the world, and it's not that serious. And there's a solution to it, and we can work through it. So
Yeah, I know for me and my wife, one of the greatest challenges we've had was when we got a call from a chaplain from the hospital saying that you need to come to the hospital because our oldest son was in a bad accident. You never want to get those calls, and you never want to experience that feeling. And that's how we put things in perspective too. We like, okay, that was for us one of the worst feelings and emotions that we've ever had to go through. So everything else we experienced from that point on, Chris, is like, nah.
exactly.
It's not that serious, where you have to actually truly stress over something like that. Now, as you fast forward though, man, you think about it now, your biggest success, you said it kind of when the pandemic hit, you had a different path that happens. So that kind of share with them about that.
Well, it was kind of I'd been working largely in production safety, and I got this opportunity to work with one of the biggest production safety organizations in the industry, doing COVID safety, and really helping the motion picture industry get back to work. I got to consult on a lot of really, really big productions. And it was kind of funny because I went from being used to largely being ignored as the safety guy. Like, oh yeah, well, safety is important. Yeah, we'll do it. They're like, well, no, we'll I'd write these 100-page reports that nobody would read. And then the pandemic happened, and it was suddenly, I'm like, all right, well, now I'm having meetings with studio heads and with major celebrities and major epic directors. I'll reserve the names. I'm not much for name dropping, but so it was this very kind of surreal thing where it's suddenly my skills in that area had been in motion picture production were suddenly in very high demand, and it was really kind of cool to see how the industry rallied around the notion of keeping everybody safe, and just so that they can produce good film and television.
Bespoke Human Potential Coaching sponsors this show. Bespoke helps CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs get rid of those blind spots that they've been carrying around since childhood. So if you're stuck and have some blocks, click the link below for your clarity call or scan the QR code if you're on video. Let's get rid of those blinds. Now back to the interview. All right. Now, but what did that lead you to? Because you had that big success, meaning like, first of all, you're like the guy who almost nobody really wanted to talk to, right? Yeah, that's the safety guy over there, because, he's actually trying to prevent us from actually doing what we want to do, to the guy like, okay, he's so important to us that he can make a difference in our lives to help us keep us and everybody else around us safe. Then you stumbled on something that you had a different, talent or skill that you never I guess you knew but didn't really know, did you?
Yeah, well, I knew it, and it's something I always kind of said as a production safety rep or as a set medic or whatever, is, with my experience in EMS and in emergency management, a lot of the stuff that I tell people on set, like, you should not be doing this, or you should maybe consider doing something. My favorite saying is I'll go up to somebody and just say, is there a safer way that we can do this? And usually that, keys them like, oh, maybe I'm not doing something safe.
Right.
But one of the things I really got an appreciation for is that when I say those things on the set, when it comes to safety, it's not theory to me. It's stuff that I've seen in the field. I've seen, you see a lot of very horrible things on an ambulance. So when you go to somebody and say, maybe you shouldn't be standing on the top rung of that ladder, fixing something over your head with no fall protection, it's not because it's not because some theoretical thing could happen. It's because I've seen somebody, seen what happens when somebody falls from that ladder, or seen what happens when somebody is working in the street and doesn't have a safety vest on, and the drivers don't see them and they get struck by the car. So it's all, it kind of goes back to that, it's a matter of perspective thing. You see, sorry, I have notifications popping up on my. So yeah, it's all kind of a matter of perspective and understanding, what can happen.
Yeah. Now, then you build something in your backyard. I mean, kind of fast forward a little bit. Now you had these successes, and you had the pandemic, and now something else clicked in your mind with filming. I mean, you not only you are a cinematographer. So share with them how you got to that journey.
Yeah, so I started out mainly in underwater cinematography. I got really into scuba diving about 15 years ago, and I had already been involved in actual cinematography on the land, but I really love scuba diving and love nature and everything like that. That kind of led me to, when this downturn happened with the motion picture industry, I started a drone services company. And one of the things I really enjoyed about doing the drone stuff is being able to make 3D models of entire buildings or entire neighborhoods. It was just the coolest thing to me. So in this downtime, I've been spending my time trying to figure out how to make those models not just 3D, but what's called 4D modeling, which is a moving model. It's so it's kind of like looking at Google Earth or Google Maps, that 3D view. Instead of it being instead of it being a snapshot in time, it is it's a moving model. Like, it's a video that you can pause and rewind and view from any angle. That led me to cobble some programs together. I'm not a programmer, but I kind of I'm one of those people that if I'm really interested in something, you can't stop me, and I'll learn everything I possibly can about it. So I taught myself how to program, a
Wow.
very rudimentary amount of programming, and took some security cameras down from my house and pointed them in my backyard, and was able to capture a moving 4D model in near real time. Usually, a 3D model of the kind that's like on Google Earth or Google Maps
Right.
can take several hours to several days, and working over several months was able to whittle that down to 30 frames a second. So 30 models a second we're now able to capture. There's been more research lately from a few different universities that have been able to increase that massively to, I think, I just read a paper that one of the universities came out with. They're now at an ability to model at 3,000 frames a second, which is just phenomenal. That opens so many opportunities and so much possibilities. And that was really the birth of SwiftSight. I've kind of been working on this for about 2 years now, and got a wonderful team put together now, that are really helping me push the company forward.
That's beautiful. Now, since it is a new company and you have a new product and a new concept, i-
Yeah.
have you experienced any blind spots or any challenges that you're like, wow, to help others, individuals, kind of not go through that?
Um, I'm not the most well seasoned fundraiser in the world. And my overzealous nature for the technology, I can see the possibilities of technology, and see the see what we're building. I found that I was a little overzealous in our valuation for the company, and was trying to go to higher valuations, which really kind of turned off a lot of VCs or a lot of investors to us, which was really
Right.
kind of hurt us a little bit. We also had one of our I don't really see them as a competitor. I see them as collaborators of sorts.
Okay.
A company by the name of World Labs became rather well known last year. They ended up raising $230 million at $1 billion valuation for their seed round. Well, it was a combined seed and Series A. That gave us a lot of overconfidence to be like, oh well, we want this huge amount of money too. If they can get it, we can.
Right.
They've got the name recognition, but not the technology. We've got the technology, but not the name recognition.
Right.
So that was kind of a blind spot that I had. In all of my companies that I've had in the past were all bootstrapped. I've had a few companies that I've started throughout the past, and they've all been bootstrapped, and I've not really had to go after outside funding.
Right.
So it's, I guess, my kind of my I don't know, naivete, I guess, in thinking, oh, everybody's going to see, the value of it. It's I've also noticed that it's a lot of, I can I will talk for hours about what we're doing because I absolutely love it. But I'm finding that it's a lot more of show, don't tell.
Mm.
I need to show people, look, this is what we've accomplished. I can describe it until my face is blue, but once you show it to people, then they kind of, oh, now I get it. Now it clicks. So that's one of the big hurdles we're kind of going over right now, is just getting the MVP up and running, and so that we can really show potential investors and potential users exactly what we can do, because the plans that we have for this range from we're starting out in the motion picture industry, and we're going all the way to outer space.
Right.
Is what our big plans are, is getting to asteroid and regolith mining, and then space exploration.
I mean, so you have big plans, and so since you know that now, what would you probably do different or share with other people? What would you think they should do so they can prevent that from happening to them?
Um, Sorry. Sorry, my phone is going off. I thought I had muted. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess one of the big things that I would really say is, don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Hmm.
There's proven paths for fundraising that have come about, and things like World Labs are an exception. They're not the rule. Once they get a
Right.
$1 billion valuation, doesn't mean that you're going to get a $1 billion valuation because you're
Correct.
doing the same thing. And yeah, I guess that's kind of one of the biggest ones is just don't try to reinvent the wheel, and then also don't try to boil the ocean. We started out very early on knowing that we were going to have this very focused roadmap, product roadmap, so that we didn't, like I mentioned before, the potential for the technology that we have is very vast, and it can touch pretty much every industry. So it's easy to get carried away and say, "Oh, we can do this, and we can do this, and we can do
Right.
this, and we can do
Right.
this." Well, we can do all those things, but you have to do it in an organized and structured manner. We can't do all of them all at once. We need to have a focused path here, and that's something I think we've done very well with is having that structured path and making sure that we're not, like I said, trying to boil the ocean and do everything. So,
Yeah, I think this is that's one of the things that a lot of us go through. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm a mindset coach and I can do this and I can do that and I can help you heal this and I can, yeah, I can, but
yeah,
that will, it kind of dilutes my message of who I specialize with, you know? So I finally got my messaging down. Okay, I've specialized with CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs. And one of the other podcasts, I think Bill Harris kind of shared with me how to get that one liner down, so that now that's what I do, and it's so important because I like what you said, boil the ocean. I never heard that before. I mean, and that sounds so true. It's like, wow, we try to boil the ocean, meaning we try to be everything to everybody.
exactly.
And once we narrow it down to what we do and what we specialize in, that's when we truly shine, and we can actually reach the people, and then also reach the people in the peripheral that also would like and need our product. So you had some setbacks. So now, what does the future look like for you guys? What does the growth look like for you guys?
Well, so we've had to come up with some scaled down notions of how we're going to move forward. We wanted to move forward with full staff complement to really get everything launched, but it's you know that's just not going to happen right away for us. We have to be able to, like I said, show, not tell. We have to be able to
Right.
show people what we can do. We have to show the investors, look, this is the phenomenal stuff that we can do, and here's just the first step, like which is Aura View and Aura Vision. Aura Vision is our motion picture production solution, and that alone will, once we get it up and running, will revolutionize the way that motion pictures are made. It's
Wow.
it's really kind of cool getting to play around with the toys. So.
So as an entrepreneur, how do you kind of keep yourself in a situation where you continue to grow and expand? I mean, I know I know you were saying earlier you read a lot and you did a lot. So what do you do now to kind of stay at the top of your field now?
I'm constantly reading reports and I'm kind of we're kind of in this exciting area in that there's a lot of research going on with AI spatial intelligence, which is what we largely deal in, and so there's new papers coming out almost daily. So it's really quite interesting to watch the technology come about and watch it progress. Some things that it's kind of like anything with AI, things that we didn't think were possible a year ago now are coming up as not only possible but are happening. It kind of reminds me of that saying of those who say that it can't be done shouldn't interrupt those that are doing it. I would just just even as an observer, not even as a participant, is it's it's quite, impressive to see where things are going technologically, especially with the advancements with artificial intelligence. I there's a lot of people that have, well, there's seems to be like two main categories of either doom and gloom, oh no, AI is going to destroy the world, or there is the other camp of AI is going to elevate humanity and make it better. I'd like to think that it's going to elevate humanity and make us better. As with any new technology, there's always the potential for abuse and negative consequences. But overall, I think there's a very positive trajectory for humanity in general with the advancements of AI.
I know you mentioned that before. I think you even gave the analogy of the story of the brownstones in New York.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
can you share with the audience a little bit about
yeah. That
that?
was actually from one of my favorite TV shows, Silicon Valley. It used to be a big problem in New York. Horse manure used to be a very large problem in New York, which is why the brownstones in New York have stairs that go up, is because the streets were just filled with horse manure. And then Ford came along with the Model T, and almost overnight, the solution, you know, kind of presented itself. The problem went away. Like there weren't horses in the streets, and there wasn't massive piles of horse manure anymore. I kind of see that the same way here, where we have this revolutionary technology where that can solve so many things, and we won't have the horse manure in the streets anymore, so to speak.
So tell the audience now, how can they contact you, or what do you need from the audience, or who you actually want to talk to or help you kind of move your vision forward, Chris?
Yeah, so we are we're fundraising right now. You can go to SwiftSight.net to find out more information about the company and the technology that we're making. Always looking for investors just to help us get this moving faster. We're kind of the mindset though is we're going to plow forward regardless of whether we have the money or not. It just
Right.
the money will help us kind of accelerate things. And we're actually launching our MVP before the end of this quarter, called Aura View, which should be available on the web, and we're also working on a mobile application and some plugins for Blender and Unreal Engine. So those should be out very soon, and you should be able to access those and play around with them. It's a really cool technology. we You hear all those hear all the news about how AI can change the world and revolutionize the world.
Right.
Well, this is one of the solutions. I've never wanted to build something that was just another wrapper, a GPT wrapper or something like that, or a chatbot.
Right.
I want to build real solutions, and these are real solutions for everything from motion picture production to environmental health and safety to healthcare and medical imaging and space exploration.
Beautiful, beautiful. What if there's any final thoughts you'd like to leave with the audience?
Keep pushing forward. It's a grind. It's a grind for a reason. It's not going to be easy. It's got its ups and downs. I think I experience the ups and downs every 30 seconds here. Um, each
I
email
think
comes with an up or down. Sometimes,
I think I heard before. It's called growing pains for a reason.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's called growing pains for a reason, man. First of all, man, thank you, Chris, man, for sharing. For being a part of this journey of actually expanding the world. I mean, you're doing some great things, man, and I can't wait to see some of the things that you guys have in store for the world. So I just want to have a big thanks for you for being a part of the show today, man.
Well, thank you for having me.
Also, guys, I'd like to thank your listeners. Kind of remember that true success comes when you embrace the legit mindset, You know, the legit mindset is actually learning, growing, expanding, and transforming every day. That's kind of my mantra. That's what I teach, is that all the situations we go through, all the situations we saw that Chris going through, it's not a setback, or it could be a temporary setback, but it's all about learning, growing, expanding, and transforming. If this episode resonates with you, and you love what Chris had to share, please hit Chris up, and if you like, wow, this is something I want to be a part of, hey, see what he can do and see how can you be a part of this new frontier that he's experiencing. He's looking for great investors for that. So if you're in that mindset, kind of drop by his website and see all of his links and stuff is below that you can kind of get in touch with him. If you're going through a blind spot, if it's something holding you back, be sure to click the link below and schedule a call with me. Let's have a clarity call. Let's just have a sit down and kind of see how we can help you unlock your full potential. My name is Curtis McCullom. Make it a great day. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the show.